My guest is Rosemary Doyle from Theatre Kingston. So glad to see you again.
Great to see you too. Fantastic to be here.
Thank you. We have, you've got a big season coming up. You've got 2 productions.
Yes, 2 productions just in the next little while.
Yeah.
And then there's a total of 6 productions this year.
Wow, is that more than?
Oh, way more. I got very excited last year.
Yeah.
All these opportunities arose for people who wanted to do co-productions and to do, like, I've always wanted to do this part, and they came and talked to me, and I was in a very yes mood at the end of last season. I was like, let's do it.
And now you got 6 of them to contend
exactly.
with. And you got 2 just in the month of October.
Yes, 2.
Oh my goodness. So tell me about the first one coming up. What's it about?
So the first one is a co-production with Easy Street Productions. So it's called Boy Beetle, and it is written and stars Richard Sheridan Willis, who's an amazing director and an amazing actor. You may have seen him in These Deeds. So
in which?
These Deeds, the show that we did a couple of seasons ago.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he played the actor manager
there,
which was really good. And then he was also in Happy Days. So he was my Willie. So he didn't say much, but he was on stage and I was talking to the back of his head. But he's a really fantastic actor and writer. And this play, he's been working on it for a long time, for like 10 years.
And what's it about, basically?
So it's about his brother Robin, and it tracks his brother's struggle with mental health and with various, like, all the feelings of his past, and exploring the effect of his family and his interpersonal relationships on his life.
Oh,
but it's quite beautiful. It's really beautiful. Like, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous show.
That's
like hope.
That's
and
one to look forward to for sure.
And also the main thing is the artistry that Richard brings to the stage. Just watching him tell and weave this story is fascinating. It's a really masterclass in acting.
I like the ones where you have to pay attention. Because all the little nuances are going to mean something at the end of the whole thing.
Absolutely, and you won't have any problem paying attention because he's absolutely captivating.
Oh, good. Yeah.
He was explaining during rehearsals the other day, we were kind of joking around. He's like, so I spent 15 minutes figuring out how to open up the guitar bag because I want it to be beautiful when I'm opening it up. And that's the attention to detail that Richard brings to his process. So it's quite beautiful.
And as an audience member, we may not notice that specific detail, but it all works somehow. It just says this is what this character is.
Exactly. It's really fun. And he gets to play like Robin as a child, Robin as an adult. Like it bops around through time, and it's his relationship with his therapist as well, which is quite fascinating. It's good.
Oh, that's interesting. So that one's coming up October
That's October the 9th, and you get 10 days to see it, so don't miss out.
Good.
Like, just go see it as fast as you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, as soon as that one shuts down, you get
another one. A couple of weeks later, a few days later, on October the 4th, we're doing Alice in the World We Live In, which I'm directing. So I'm directing that right now.
Good.
And it stars Helen Bretsky and Sean Roberts. And they're great to work with. Great to work with. But before the camera was rolling, you were telling me, like, we were talking about directing, and I must say, when you have fantastic actors who are properly cast in the right roles, directing is an absolute pleasure and a dream, because you can just pull from a good performance to a great performance. It's really good.
It must be hard if you've never worked with somebody before.
Sometimes that's hard, but more often it's exciting, because you kind of get to tell them all the stuff from your kit bag, and they're not bored with listening to you whine on about the same things over and over again. So that's fun. So I've never worked with Sean before, although Sean was in These Deeds as well. But he's a really lovely actor to work with. And Helen, I have worked with her numerous times now. So we've got this kind of quick vocabulary now. I can get the direction I want her to go. I can say a few words to her and she gets it right away, because we know how each other think and what we want.
Right. So this is not her first rodeo
no,
either.
No, it's not by a long shot. No.
And what is the story about Alice and the?
So Alice and the World We Live In is about a woman who loses her husband in a tragedy, and then still needs to go on this vacation that they had planned for their anniversary, to go across the Italian mountains on one of those paths.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
Yeah, if that's not a time for self-reflection.
Exactly.
Whoa.
And I must say, Alexandria Hebert, the writer of this particular play, I think captures, you know, that when you think about something in your memory and you're suddenly there instead of where you are, and then you're transported in your head, that in the mind's eye.
Okay.
And I think she captures that being in the mind's eye better than any writer I've ever read or tried to experience before. And it's been quite fascinating during this rehearsal process to say, okay, Helen, when is Alice in Italy? And when is she back in college? When is she in all these other places? Like, when is the moment and that seamless going from thinking about something to being somewhere?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like when you travel and it's something that, like the Sphinx, that you have seen in pictures some of the time you are, you know, however old.
Exactly.
And suddenly you're standing there in front of it and trying to, am I really here?
Yeah. Right?
It's a weird feeling.
Like sometimes the reality is weirder than our memories. It's like you're like, how did I get here? What's going on? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, did I really do that?
Exactly. Well, like they say that in time, like with the world, we only really have the present, and everything else is just the past and the future. And I like to describe it sometimes like life is being in the doorway of a house party, and your past is having the party over here in the living room, and your future's in the kitchen, and people just keep walking past you from one to the other.
That's a good
and
way of
sometimes they
looking at it.
come around again.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a different. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's kind of like that.
Yeah, and these are both taking place at the Baby Grant.
At the Baby Grant.
And
Yeah.
that's such a great. It's intimate.
Yeah.
And it lends itself to this sort of subject matter.
It's
a
beautiful.
big stage with a big audience just doesn't. It's not quite the same.
No, it wouldn't. This you'll
not the
be right
same.
there with them, and you can see the nuances of their performances because the room isn't that giant. Like you can see everything that you need to see, so it's going to be beautiful.
You almost feel at times like it's just you and the performance. You can just shut out everything around you, and I don't find I do that so much in a big audience.
No. And the wonderful thing too about being in an audience is that they've actually done scientific experiments where people heartbeats and their breathing in the audience starts to align. So really the audience kind of becomes one. So my thought is always that the audience is the actor that didn't show up for rehearsal, and so it's our job to make them laugh and smile and cry, and that they'll be doing it as this communal effort together.
Okay.
And we just kind of guide that process. So it's kind of this beautiful, where you're the missing piece. The audience is the missing piece. And we want lots of you there. Anyway,
and the reason that you're there, really, you know, us, with bumps in the seats and pay at the box office for sure. Yeah.
No, but it'll be fun to have everybody feel this stuff together, because for Theatre Kingston we like to pick shows that keep you thinking. Long after the show is done.
My favorite kind, where it just stays with me for a long time after. I have a question, because I don't know who else to ask this.
Sure, you can ask me.
It used to be that if something just absolutely, wow, there'd be a standing ovation.
Yeah.
And it seems like now, it's every performance you see, and I think
I don't think that's necessary.
And I wonder, because sometimes you can almost, you're sitting in the audience and you see people and they're starting to shift and they're kind of, like they're bored.
Yeah.
They're not enjoying this. But as soon as everybody's on their feet.
I think Mamma Mia did that.
Okay.
That big curtain call that was basically just a show in itself. You know?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, oh, the show's done. Oh, now this is, so yay.
Right, now we're all going to get up and dance. Yay.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes I wonder if people stand up because they're just trying to get out of there.
Well, I sometimes, gather up my purse and my coat and, can bolt on out of here. But I wonder from a performer's point of view, has it lost its, because it used to be, if there was a standing ovation, you'd see a reaction on the stage. They'd go, wow, kind of.
Yeah, I think people still love it.
Okay.
I think that's just like a little thing. But I also think that sometimes people are doing it because they know the actors love it. And I don't think that serves the serves the show really, because you don't get that gold star when you really did a great job.
That's what I mean. I
Yeah.
think that's what I'm getting at. It's
Yeah.
lost its
It's kind of
appeal
a
somehow.
participation award now, which
That's- Yeah.
Now I must say the most touching thing that I've seen in the past few years at Theatre Kingston was we put on a show like this happened with Blood River. It also happened with Civilized, where instead of standing, people would clap, and then they'd sit in their seats, and they wouldn't leave the theater for about like I 10 minutes. At the end, I'd be like, "Hi, everybody, we have to move you along as nice as I could." But they would actually sit there and sit with the show, and I thought that was incredibly powerful.
Processing
The show. What did I just see? And they didn't want to leave. They wanted to live in it for a while longer. And I thought that was an incredibly powerful and beautiful response to the work that we do.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So tickets are available through
the box office at the Grand Theatre.
Yeah.
Or you can go to our website, theatrekingston.com, because that's easy to remember, and I put in direct ticket links to that.
Perfect.
So
looks like it's going to be a really good set, and I can't wait to hear about the rest of them.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. And Andrea Robertson is doing the set design of both shows so that they work together. So
it's going to be great.
It's going to be fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure, anytime.